Hello and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. It's time to queer up the news. It is Monday, October 9th, 2023. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
I'm out South Florida senior reporter John Hayden. Al has the night off. This evening we bring you the news of and perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, happening out television network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission? To support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
Today is Indigenous Peoples Day, and we'd like to give a special welcome to our two-spirit members of our community that are watching tonight. We welcome you and we honor you. Now, let's meet tonight's panel and begin with one of my faves, Adrianna Tender. She works for the program as the program coordinator with Trans Inclusive Group and is the owner of Tender Loving Care Trans Mentoring. She serves on the National Board of Governors for the Human Rights Campaign and is the new vice president of the Dolphin Democrats. And she also serves with the Black LGBTQ Liberation. Welcome, Adrianna.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure being here. I want to bring attention to an event that we're having over at the Pride Center with the Dolphin Democrats. It's going to be our regular second Wednesday meeting, and it's going to be called Black LGBTQ Voices Stronger Together. And that's going to be October the 11th at 6:30 p.m. at the Pride Center.
Actually, I like Black Together.
Yeah, I do too.
I think so that's the title you wanted that didn't get picked, right?
Hey.
Yeah. No, but congratulations on ascending to VP of the Dolphin Democrats. You've got your work cut out for you, and I've done a short little story on her in the current issue of Out South Florida, and we're going to do a whole profile of you coming up here. We did an interview this last weekend, so yes. I look forward to writing and publishing that.
Can't wait.
Up next is Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 9 books. His entertainment coverage, including celebrity interviews, runs in a variety of print and online publications, including Out South Florida. Welcome, Gregg.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody else. How's it going?
Hey, fabulous.
Good. I had a wonderful day today. I got to interview the amazing Ann Hampton Calloway, and she's going to be here, I think in December and January, so she's a love. I'll be sure to post it online when it's available.
Can't wait. And do you have book reading this week at Aperitivo at Bona?
That is this Wednesday at Aperitivo at Bona. The amazing Julie Marie Wade will be reading from her incredible essay collection, Otherwise, and that starts at 7 p.m. So please be there.
All right. And finally, we welcome Jacob Reide Jennings, a professional ballroom and Latin dancer turned real estate broker and philanthropist. Jacob leads Sherlock's Homes Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3 addressing the LGBTQ plus youth housing insecurity issues. And his hat game is 100% on point. Welcome, Jacob.
Why, thank you, my dear. I have so much game on point. I should give you some tips. Anyway, oh, the shade. Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. And if you're interested in learning more about Sherlock's Homes, please go to sherlockshomes.org. You can learn about us and our homes that are in Colorado Springs, Richmond, Virginia, and Raleigh, North Carolina.
And tomorrow is his birthday, the big 4-5. Congratulations. We couldn't be happier for you. We are the reporters of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headline. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, October 9th. As we said, Indigenous Peoples Day. And we begin by queering up the worldview. Hunky politician could become Greece's first LGBTQ plus prime minister. Stefanos Kasselakis is a 35-year-old entrepreneur and politician from Mauritius, Greece, and wants to shake up LGBTQ plus rights in the ancient home of democracy. Over the weekend, he was elected the leader of Greece's main left-wing opposition party. This puts him in prime position to become prime minister in the next general election. Kasselakis has a bachelor's degree in finance and international relations from the University of Pennsylvania and volunteered on Biden campaigns. An out gay man and first openly queer leader of a political party in Greece, he's been with his partner for 4 years and is making marriage equality and having children a top priority. He and his partner are working to become parents through surrogacy in Greece. And it seems like every few weeks we're doing a story about another head of state is LGBTQ plus. Yeah. We've seen it in several, in all parts of the world. We're seeing it everywhere but Antarctica, and we all know the penguins are gay there anyway. So, but this is a really good step, and it makes me feel good because Greece has certainly had its problems over the last 15 or 20 years. But to see them hopefully taking a step in the right direction, or should I say the left direction?
That sounds good. Yasu Stefanos, a genuine in-the-flesh Greek god. Wow.
Well,
that's all.
All I can say was he was hot. But yeah, I definitely believe that representation counts. And I think it's important that he's going to be there, and the fact that he's going to start a family. That's one of my big things, trying to have children.
Yeah.
So, hey, go him.
Yeah. I mean, here in America, we talked about Indiana last time with the chicken farmer. He's much more attractive, and we wish you the very best. So,
oh yeah, the idiot from Muncie. Yeah. No, this is great, and the only thing I can say is, Opa.
Next,
they call me 45.
Let's queer up gay culture. Palm Springs launches their answer to Miami's Celebrate Orgullo and Gay 8 with new Gay Latin Pride Festival. Greater Palm Springs Pride has announced the inaugural Palm Springs Latin Gay Pride Fiesta Orgullo. The party will kick off Palm Springs Pride Week on November 2nd in the Arenas District. Ron DeHart, President and CEO of Greater Palm Springs Pride, says the event emphasizes the city's commitment towards diversity, inclusivity, and embracing the rich tapestry of the community. The event is an opportunity for people from all walks of life to come together, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, or ethnicity. Highlights of the Fiesta Orgullo include a lineup of talented artists performing and spinning a mix of Latin hits from salsa and merengue to reggaeton and cumbia. The outdoor dance floor will come alive with the rhythms to make your heart race and your feet move. The lineup includes DJ Ben, Marika's Reggaeton Latino Drag Review, Giselle Wu and the Night Owls, and DJ Tatiana. There's this kind of sort of unspoken competition between, say, Wilton Manors / Fort Lauderdale and Palm Springs / Cathedral City. And the proof is right there. They're sort of copying what we're doing here in South Florida. And it's nice to see that Palm Springs is taking a page from the South Florida handbook and putting it to good use with Fiesta Orgullo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I love that because let's face it, there was a time not too long ago, and like 4 o'clock, that Palm Springs and Wilton Manors basically only try to out gay white male each other. not necessarily a particularly rich tapestry that they would like, but this is a step in the right direction towards it. And I think that that Wilton Manors has worked towards that. We have a long way to go. We're very LGBTQ plus accepting, but we've got a long way to go as far as getting representation in our city politics, in not just our politics, not just on the dais, but on the committees that the city runs. And it's not just Fort Lauderdale, also Wilton Manors, not just Wilton Manors. It's all the cities around here. So this is a great step. And one thing Palm Springs does have us beat on, they have a Trixie Motel.
That's true.
Okay, I'm loving her Netflix series, by the way. I'm loving that. That's been very, very fun.
Yeah.
You called me 45.
Next, let's queer up drag culture. Philippine drag queen arrested for offending religion after Jesus-themed drag performance. Amadeus Fernando Pagante, performed under the name Puro Luca Vega, was arrested after a video surfaced of her dressed as Jesus Christ and performing a rock version of the Our Father religious groups. The Philippines for Jesus movement and Nazarene Brotherhood filed complaints with the Manila prosecutor's office. The 33-year-old drag queen is facing up to 12 years in jail under the Catholic majority country's obscenity laws and has already been declared persona non grata in several cities. A copy of the arrest warrant says Pagante is charged with immoral doctrines, obscene publications and inhibitions, and indecent shows. For decades, drag queens in the Philippines have been popular entertainers who impersonate singers and actresses and deliver punchlines in stand-up shows. But Pagante is part of a new generation of drag queens who use their performances to champion their causes and use the rights of free speech. I think what she's doing is amazing. And I think that you should be able to do whatever you want when it comes to free speech. I mean, I used to do drag, and I promise you, I could care less if you agree with it or you didn't agree with it. I got up there and just did it.
Okay, I'm going to go on a limb and guess you were fierce and fabulous.
I was, of course.
Oh, yeah. Well, wouldn't it be nice if members of Philippines for Jesus movement and the Nazarene Brotherhood were arrested following criminal complaints from drag queens? Turnabout is fair play, after all.
Yes,
That's actually an interesting idea.
No.
That was surprisingly interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, well. Next, let's queer up education. Alabama trashes over $16,000 in school training manuals for being woke. Barbara Cooper, head of Alabama's Department of Early Childhood Education, had to forcefully resign when it was found that the department was distributing teacher training materials that included so-called woke content. Now, the officials of Alabama Department of Education have thrown away $16,500 worth of woke teacher training materials, which were approved by the National Association for the Education of Young Children's Developmentally Appropriate Practice book. The book contains a section suggesting LGBTQIA plus people need to hear and see messages showing equality, dignity, and worth. This section also discussed systemic forces that perpetuate systems of white privilege. The books were intended solely to help preschool and elementary school teachers improve their classroom skills and were never meant to be read by young children nor have their contents taught to them. A photograph shows nearly over 100 newly purchased booklets scattered across the floor of a Montgomery waste recycling plant about 5 miles from the offices of the Alabama Department of Early Childhood Education. The materials cost $165 each. I still can't believe they have actually a recycling plant in Montgomery, Alabama. The rest of it doesn't surprise me.
I can't believe they can read in Alabama.
Actually, something about their education system that is very interesting. They have done some really progressive stuff as far as teaching their kids how to invest in Birmingham and parts of Alabama. So they are a very progressive education system, but this just seems very backwards because they are very practical in Birmingham, at least. Maybe Montgomery County needs to take a listen.
Yeah, well, it's reverting to the mean. Everything reverts to the mean.
That's just a waste of money.
Yeah, but it's also a waste of opportunity.
Yes.
There is, first off, they're banning books from teachers. They're not even letting the teachers read the books that might influence how they teach kids. And what I would like to know and the article doesn't say this, and I looked online, I can't find out who was on the board making the decision to get rid of these materials, to just incinerate them, to make them not exist. And I'm betting there wasn't a lot of open LGBTQ plus on there. I'm betting there weren't a lot of black people making the decision. I bet there weren't a lot of Hispanic people making the decision, or our two-spirited Indian Native American friends. They weren't making the decision. It was people who looked like me and Gregg, most likely. But without any accountability, they're just a faceless group that's saying absolutely not. So it's not just the racism that just comes in naturally, but the racism that is perpetuated by these decisions.
Well, and moms for lobotomies are infiltrating everything. So, I mean, I'm sure they're all over Alabama.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, homegrown here, but I'm sure they're all over the country now.
And you work a lot with the trans community, obviously, with in the LGBTQ plus community. How do we stop this kind of ignorance? You're an activist. You're on the ground. I've told you twice this week that an activist's work is never done. How do we fix this? Where do we even begin to take the first step?
Well, the first step is what they were doing before, educating people.
Yeah.
And if you can't educate people, then what do? That's what makes no sense to me, you know?
Well, they shall continue to marinate in ignorance.
Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Miami Shores celebrate Pride with a parade to raise funds for safe schools. The community is getting ready for the annual Miami Shores Pride Parade and Tea Dance on Sunday, October 22nd, presented by Shores Pride. This inclusive, family-friendly event kicks off at 4 o'clock p.m. with a free parade down the Grand Concourse, followed by a tea dance. The Pride features the gorgeous and talented Poison Ivy Lords as host, along with headliners Soul and the Tribute and DJ Music Cat. Drag shows and live performances are also scheduled, along with plenty of delicious food and drinks. The city's favorite personality, Mayor Levine Cava, will inaugurate the Pride and open the parade and tea dance, and serve as Grand Marshal. General admission to the tea dance is $10, and VIP tickets are available. All profits go towards safe schools and scholarships for LGBTQ students through the Point Foundation. This will be a plastics, styrofoam, smoke, and weapons-free event. Miami Shores Village has partnered with the Village of El Portal, the Village of Biscayne Park, and the City of North Miami, and invites everyone to join this Coming Out Day celebration. Well, I went last year. I don't know if did anybody else go to Miami Shores Pride last year? It was fabulous.
Yep.
It was amazing. The great turnout, great location, and of course, this fundraiser is a great and worthy cause.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that these little, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but these hometown prides are really taking over. My Hollywood Pride, just a couple blocks long, but it's packed. It's quality, not quantity. And you've got this coming up in Miami Shores, and it's on Coming Out Day, which is more important and more needed than ever. Because Lord knows I couldn't have showed up there as a 12, 13, 14-year-old person to make my stand. So, and it sends a message of openness and welcoming that so many of our youth need.
I really admire that they're actually going to help the schools. It's not going just to an LGBTQ cause. They're really including themselves in the fabric of their community. And that is important. For so long, we haven't been able to get that far. They might be small, but they can be mighty. Hats off to you, darlings.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
Now, a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
Next, let's queer up 1 Minute News. Let's queer up news South Florida. National LGBTQ Task Force Gala is back on October 14th. The 2023 National LGBTQ Task Force Gala celebrates the 50th anniversary of leading the fight for LGBTQ plus liberation in the United States. The event is this Saturday at the Miami Beach Convention Center. Iconic performer Latrice Royale and award-winning actor, singer, filmmaker, writer, and dancer Dylan Burnside will be MCs. The gala starts at 6:30 p.m. featuring a cocktail reception, a sprawling and spectacular silent auction, a sit-down dinner, an award ceremony, and the Afterglow Ball. With the DJ and dancing, special performances by Ann Steele, Robbie Elias, and Tango Liberated are also scheduled. The gala is a key fundraiser supporting the social justice work of the task force. A significant portion of the proceeds from the gala will be donated to community partner organizations in South Florida. Tickets are available at thetaskforcegala.org.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up Florida and South Florida. Cannes Community Health Gospel Brunch is October 15th. Cannes is holding the Gospel Brunch this Sunday, October 15th at Hunter's Nightclub, featuring live music, soul food, and a Best Church Hat contest, which tonight would be won by Jacob, along with fabulous prizes. Proceeds benefits of Cannes Patient Assistance Fund, which directly impacts the health and well-being of patients. Hosted by Faye Watt and Matthew Darren, the program highlights the individuals and organizations involved in community work and activism throughout South Florida. Sponsored by Cannes Community Health, Our Fund Foundation, Gilead, Hunter's Nightclub, and D-Rock Productions, the event will also host free vaccinations from Holy Cross Health. The event promises to be a joyful and interactive experience. Doors are at 1:30, and tickets start at $45.
I went last year. It was so much fun.
Yeah, right?
You have a good time this weekend. LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the world view. Mauritius ban on same-sex oh dear Lord. Listen, a country banned same-sex relations overturned by the High Court. Mauritius's highest court has decriminalized gay sex, saying the ban reflected colonial-era values rather than indigenous values. The ruling comes at a time of rising homophobia and tougher anti-gay laws in some African states. British colonialists first criminalized sodomy in 1898, but the law has not been enforced in recent years. Mauritius is a tiny island state east of Madagascar, and the case was brought by Abdul Ridwan Firas Asik, who argued the offense of sodomy breached his basic rights, including the right to liberty. The Supreme Court said the law did not reflect any quote, reflect any indigenous Mauritian values, but was inherited as part of our colonial history from Britain, end quote. The ruling means people can no longer be arrested for having gay sex.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up sports. F1 racer Lewis Hamilton shows support for LGBTQ plus at Qatar Grand Prix. Fans witnessed Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton wearing a pride bracelet supporting the LGBTQ plus community during the Qatar Grand Prix. A fan posted the story of Hamilton accepting his LGBTQ plus bracelet in the paddock. Plus, he wore a rainbow helmet to spread his anti-discrimination message. This isn't the first time Hamilton has taken a stand for the LGBTQ plus community in Qatar. In 2021, he wore a helmet featuring the Pride Progress flag with words printed on the back stating, "We stand together." Qatar has harsh restrictions on the rights and freedoms of the LGBTQ plus community. Hamilton believes it's always good to raise awareness for things and keep the conversations going.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up education. Billy Porter slams lack of queer artist education during LGBTQ plus History Month. The Post star is voicing frustration with education systems that ignore the contributions of queer artists to American culture. He was on Live with Kelly and Mark to promote his new musical, Billy Strayhorn, Something to Live For, which is currently playing in Pittsburgh. Porter talked about how people loved Duke Ellington but ignored Billy Strayhorn, who was one of the masterminds behind Duke Ellington's success. Strayhorn was one of the rare men in the jazz world to be openly gay. However, he lived in the older and more famous man's shadow publicly due to his sexuality. Porter believes his new musical will bring Strayhorn's story to life.
That is it for today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Networks, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm John Hayden, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Adrianna Tender, Gregg Shapiro, and my good young friend, Jacob Reide Jennings. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you a happy birthday and a good night.
Good night.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.